Welcome to today's edition of The Exchange, live from Hollywood, Florida at Inside ETFs. As a reminder, today's interview is for informational purposes only. The NYC does not recommend investments or investment strategies. I'm joined by my friend Sandra Testani. She is Vice President of ETF Product and Strategy. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Doug, so much for having me. It's great to see you.
I mean, I know how busy you are. I see you out there. You're talking to a lot of advisors. It's a big conference. What are some of the conversations that you and your team are having?
Yeah, they're pretty wide-ranging depending on who we're talking to. But I think if there's a theme that's been coming up a lot, it's trying to figure out how to navigate all the uncertainty that's out there. Whether you're talking about debt ceiling, inflation, rates. And so as a result of that, what we're hearing is that advisors are starting to think about how to be more defensive in some ways in their portfolios. And in equities, they're expressing that through having more exposure to quality.
So a lot of those headlines you mentioned are not fun headlines. Mm-hmm. They can be scary headlines. Does the team in American Century, do you look out? Do you see opportunities out there?
Yeah, I think we're actually pretty well positioned. We have a pretty broad lineup of products, of ETFs across multiple investment disciplines. And one thing that does sort of represent a commonality among them is that most of the investment strategies, most of the investment teams that we work with incorporate quality in some way, shape, or form in their investment process. So what does that mean? A little different team by team, but in general, you're looking to find companies and invest in companies that have, exposure to durable profits and a strong competitive advantage, low leverage. And we think that in this type of environment where there is a lot of uncertainty and rates being where they are, that historically that type of exposure has been helpful.
Are there ETFs in your lineup that you sort of look to that's kind of hit on all those themes?
Yeah, well, one that I think has been seeing a lot of interest lately is a U.S. quality growth strategy. It's a ticker QGROW. So what's interesting about that one is that it is, first, it's a U.S. large cap, predominantly growth equity strategy. But the way that it invests is pretty unique, and I think that that's been really, given the environment, what folks have been kind of coalescing around. So first, what it does is it employs a quality screen. So it takes the market universe and eliminates companies that we believe are low quality. So scoring based on a whole myriad of things, 24 different fundamental attributes, things like management quality, earnings variability, leverage, et cetera. And once you have eliminated those stocks, you build a portfolio that is both high growth and a sleeve that is stable growth. And we dynamically rebalance and allocate to both. So that didn't really resonate even 4 years ago when we launched, but given how swiftly the rotations have been and how narrow the breadth of just a handful of stocks in growth kind of leading the markets, I think that advisors are starting to understand why you would want to have exposure to both styles and be able to tilt towards one or the other depending on the environment. And importantly, we cap position sizes. So we have a much more diversified exposure. We're not as concentrated as some of the indexes.
And of course, American Century, always so clever with their tickers, QGROW, easy to remember.
Yes.
When somebody's out there, they're listening and they're thinking, hey, I want to be engaged with American Century. I want to learn about the Avantis lineup of ETFs. Where do they go? Where do they learn more?
Yeah, well, they should please reach out to us at www.americancentury.com.
Easy to remember. And of course, if you caught this episode live and you're looking for ETF education content, you want to become certified with the Certified ETF Advisor designation, you can find it all on our website, etfcentral.com, all brought to you by none other than the New York Stock Exchange, the home of ETFs.